One of the questions posed during a Democratic seminar was, is it moral for Kathy to make Dawson and Downey take a plea when they wanted to tell the truth? This question was not addressed as thoroughly as it should have been, maybe because it seems like a simple question. However, once Kant's theory is applied to it, it actually becomes complex. To make a complex question simpler, I broke it down into four parts: Kant's ideas, Dawson and Downey and Kathy in Kant's frame, and the final layer that makes this question interesting. What would Kant's answer to this question be? His answer would be no. It is not moral for Kathy to make Dawson and Downey take a plea. Kathy would and almost did do this because he knew, or at least perceived, this case to be a losing one. No defense attorney wants their client to tell the truth and ultimately incriminate themselves. However, Kant believes that the moral worth of an action comes from the actions itself, not the consequences. Although Kathy would not be lying by not allowing Dawson and Downey to tell the truth, his action and intention would be preventing the truth to come to light, which, according to Kant, would be immoral. Therefore, if Kathy did what the clients wanted and allowed them to tell the truth, Kathy would be acting morally. Part of Kant's theory is that the consequences are out of the scope of one's control, but what is in one's control is the actions. So Kathy would not truly know what would happen if he allowed Dawson and Downey to tell the truth. However, it is obvious that Kant was not a lawyer because lawyers do know the consequences of allowing the defendants to speak their truth. Kathy knows that Dawson and Downey would have incriminated themselves, resulting in jail time and resulting in him looking like an inadequate lawyer. This is why defense attorneys rarely put the defendants on the stand. Dawson and Downey's moral compass. Are Dawson and Downey themselves Kantians? On the surface, yes, they are, because they wanted to tell the truth about their crimes and seemingly allow whatever happens to happen. However, they are not true Kantians. Yes, they want to tell the truth, but when they find out they will not be allowed to remain Marines, they are extremely dismayed. When they see the value in the truth, until it costs them their life, their careers, their identities, and their livelihood. Furthermore, part of Kant's theory includes intentions. What are Dawson and Downey's intentions in telling the truth? Their intentions are that they believe they did nothing wrong and they want the world to know that. Not because they were remorseful, but simply because they were following an order. With these aspects of Kant's theory in mind, Dawson and Downey were not acting morally when expressing their desire to tell the truth. What would a defense lawyer say? How does this apply to defense lawyers in general and Kathy specifically? Well, the purpose of a defense lawyer is to either get the defendants off on all charges or to get their sentences reduced significantly. Kathy was going to do this at first, as he got their sentence reduced to 6 months. However, Dawson and Downey insisted on telling the truth, and eventually new evidence came to light that made Kathy realize he could win this case and get Dawson and Downey off completely. For defense lawyers in general, the answer to this question would be yes, it is moral, because as defense attorneys, it is their purpose to do everything in their power to help the defendants. If they don't, that would be immoral. Part of helping the defendants is having them take pleas, because defense lawyers also know what's best for the client, most of the time more than the defendant knows what's best for them. For Kathy specifically, while having Dawson and Downey take a plea would have still been moral, in the end, Kathy realizes who the true criminal is and works hard to make sure Dawson and Downey don't go down for a crime that, although they did commit, is not entirely their fault. The final layer to the answer of this question is actually in the ending of the play. Kathy got Dawson and Downey no prison time because he found the true villain in all of this, Jessup. Not only is Jessup the true villain in reality because he ordered Santiago's death, he's the true villain in Kant's theory. Jessup used Dawson and Downey as a mere means to an end. Jessup also shifted the blame to Dawson and Downey by ordering them to kill Santiago instead of just doing it himself. This is immoral according to Kant, and in general. Dawson and Downey truly did act without thinking about consequences because in the end they were following an order, and although they were not obligated to do so, they felt they needed to. This did, however, result in Santiago's death, which is why Dawson and Downey received dishonorable discharge. This delineates the problems with acting without considering consequences with that aspect of Kant's theory. For the entirety of the play, Dawson, Downey, and Kathy all acted morally according to Kant because of their maxims, because of their intentions. To conclude, this is the complex answer to a complex question. However, the question should not be, is it moral for Kathy to make Dawson and Downey take a play? Because in the end, and in reality, yes. Even if Jessup was the true criminal. But the true question is, who was being moral in the play and who was not?